you guys? Welcome back to the Fumble Live. Thank you for tuning in today. So we are going to be getting into what happened with Simone Biles. I know there's some of you in the chat who are asking about that. That's going to be our first story. And then we're also talking about Ben Simmons because the guy simply cannot catch a positive news headline about him, but maybe he only has himself to blame. Before we dive in, subscribe to our channel, tap the bell for notifications, give this video a thumbs up, and leave a comment below. Here's the Fumble Squad. I'm Devin Howard. You can find me on Instagram as @DevinHoward.
Good morning, everybody. I'm Jackie Ray. You can follow me on Instagram and Twitter @JRayTheFanatic. And Devin, I have to wish you a happy Taco
Yes, I actually forgot this time, but you remembered, so nice job. I'm glad you remembered.
Why I remembered is not necessary. So if you see my eye just randomly watering, I decided last night to like pre-cut onions because I was definitely going to make, I'm not having tacos, but I'm like preparing this whole like taco brunch kind of thing. So my friends are coming over this evening. So I started chopping onions last night and my eyes, this eye started watering and has not stopped.
Oh no.
I woke up this morning and it was like all crusty because it had watered through the night. I got in the shower. It was watering through the shower. I'm brushing my teeth. It's watering. I'm like, what is happening?
Oh my gosh. That's been happening to me a lot too lately, actually. Not necessarily because of onions, but when I was in Vegas, my eyes the whole time were just watering, couldn't keep my makeup on, and I don't know why it does that. I feel like maybe the dry weather, but you must have got a little chunk of onion in your eye.
Like, so if you see me, I'm not crying. I can't stop the water.
Okay, thank you for the warning then. Jackie is not crying, you guys. All right, well, let's get into this first news story because it's a pretty important one. So Simone Biles withdrew from the team gymnastics final after leaving the floor with her trainer. So this is a picture that she posted on her Instagram. Actually, Leo, if you want to throw that caption up there too, we can talk about that. So she said, it wasn't an easy day or my best, but I got through it. I feel like I have the weight of the world on my shoulders at times. I know I brush it off and make it seem like pressure doesn't affect me, but damn, sometimes it's hard. The Olympics is no joke, but I'm happy my family was able to be with me virtually. They mean the world to me. So it was initially announced that she withdrew from the team final competition due to a medical issue, and the plan was to assess her daily to determine her medical clearance for future competitions. So it was later revealed that the medical issue was actually not something that she was dealing with physically. It was more of a mental and emotional issue. She was struggling with her mental health, and she decided that she wasn't able to perform well enough for her team and wanted to withdraw to give them the best shot at winning. She said, quote, I felt like it would be better to take a back seat. I didn't want to risk the team a medal because they worked way too hard for my screw-ups. It's been really stressful, this Olympic Games. It's been a long week, a long Olympic process, a long year. I think we're a little too stressed out. We should be out here having fun, and that's just not the case. Speaking on her teammates, she said, quote, I knew they were going to be just fine. Emotions were all over the place, but look what they did without me. They're Olympic silver medalists. And then this morning, she actually spoke about her decision to withdraw, and she said, today has been really stressful. I've never, and then during the 5.5-hour wait when she would, before she was actually on the floor, she said that she was shaking and she had never felt like this before. She said, quote, once I came out here, I was like, no, the mental is not there. I had to let the girls do it. She says that she hopes to be feeling well enough for the individual events, but she's not making any promises. And then she also said, physically, I feel good. I'm in shape. Emotionally, that kind of varies on the time and moment. Coming here to the Olympics and being the head star is not an easy feat. So we're just trying to take it one day at a time, and we'll see. Now, there's obviously a lot of people who are criticizing Simone for her decision. They're saying that she took away a coveted spot from somebody who would have liked to be there, and she just withdrew, doesn't really care about her teammates. It's okay, Jackie. Don't worry. We're going to get through it together. That was like the perfect moment for you to start crying.
Oh God, Simone.
Oh my God. But I actually think that this was a smart move for her. We have to be able to know our limits and preserve our mental health just as much as we preserve our physical health. I know it's easy to look at athletes, and especially Olympic athletes, and just view them as that, an athlete. They go out there and they compete. They're extremely physical. They're strong. They're so skilled. But we don't ever take a step back and look at what this might mean for them. They're in Tokyo without any sort of true, familial support system around them. They're sleeping on cardboard beds. I mean, honestly, that's probably not helping the situation. Like, they don't have the comforts of home. They don't have really the comforts of anything that they're used to. And then they're also expected to go out and compete and be the best in the entire world. And Simone, we look at her and she is truly the best gymnast that we have ever seen. And the pressure on her has to be insane. And I think that it makes sense that it's getting to her, especially when everything is so heightened and the competition is so stiff. I think that it's really amazing that she took a look at the situation and decided to step back, knowing that she wasn't going to be able to execute at the highest level, and knowing that she could potentially cost her teammates the medal. I feel like if she had gone out and performed and didn't look up to par, first of all, she would have been subject to criticism then, but she also could have lost the team their opportunity to win a medal. It's a team event for a reason. You're allowed to step back. You're allowed to have a replacement. And I don't think that anybody on her team is upset with her. And I actually respect her for being able to recognize that she just wasn't there and she wasn't able to do it. Jackie, what was your reaction to everything that went down? Do you understand why Simone decided to withdraw?
So there's a couple of things on this one for me. Number one, I fully understand why this might be mentally difficult for her. First and foremost, for those of you guys who've been watching gymnastics for any stretch of time, you know that one of the things they rate you on is how difficult it is. So even if you do say a vault and the difficulty is like 10 and you don't stick it, you still have a chance of getting like a 9.9, 9.5 or something like that because the difficulty is so high. And it came out just before the Olympics that Simone is doing vaults that they don't even recommend people to do. They said that, hey, not only is she doing vaults that we don't recommend, nobody else can do them. Therefore, we're not going to give her that increased difficulty rating, which at that point, if I'm doing this amazing vault that no one else can do, and you're going to give me a basic rating for it, that's a lot. To hear from the Olympic Committee that you're not going to acknowledge how great I am just because other people can't be as great is one mental hashtag, right? And then to go out there and not stick it, because I don't know for sure, but I can kind of guess if you go out there and practice and you don't stick it, but you're close to sticking it. She went out there, she practiced that, she did a giant hop. We've seen her do giant hops before that have kind of been irrelevant because of the difficulty of the vault. But now she did that giant hop, and in her head, she knows that giant hop just gave her like a 7 instead of like a 9, which it would normally give her. That's a mental hash mark. So now it becomes this whole thing. Well, do I downgrade to just a normal vault? Have I even practiced a normal vault? So you can easily get inside your head. It's not basketball where you can get inside your head. Yeah, you'll cost your team a couple of points, but you're just kind of running up and down the court. If you get inside your head too much in gymnastics, you could legit hurt yourself. So there's that. So there's a lot of reasons why I fully understand what she's saying. There's got to be a level of disappointment that says, hey, I worked so hard, because she is an entertainer. I really believe that she knows that she is an entertainer. I worked so hard to be able to perform this so that people can be like, oh my God, this is amazing. And now even if I do it, I'm not going to get the accolades for it. It's a mental mind trip. So to know that you're going to go out there and unless you do it perfectly, you're not going to help your team. It's a mental mind trip. That being said, I 100% understand how she ended up in this mental space. I know that it's probably 10 times more difficult for her to get out of that mental space now that we know that Tokyo is not even allowing moms who are caregivers to go. So they're definitely not allowing, moms who aren't caregivers to go. You don't have your family there. You got to go home to this box of a bed. There's a lot going on. That being said, I have an unpopular opinion. Lie. And that don't blame it on mental health. And the reason for that is because that is becoming the default. And I don't want us to diminish how important mental health is. I 100% understand how she ended up here, but people don't have common sense. They just don't have common sense. They look at these athletes, they look at the ability they have physically, they look at the money they make, and they don't give credit to the fact that they are human beings. I see somebody in the chat right now says a bunch of crybabies. People don't have common sense. They don't understand that the pressure that these people are under is much greater than the pressure that you're on at your little 9 to 5, where if you miss a keystroke, nobody really cares. It's not affected, and the whole world's not going to see it. We're not going to be talking about the fact that you missed a keystroke on your data entry job on the Fumble. We're not going to do that. The microscope is on you that much greater. Don't give people, if you're in a mental issue, don't give people reason to talk about you. Lie. Say that you had a tightness in your back. Lie. People have been doing it since the dawn of time. I'm advocating for a lie right now.
Okay, so I agree and I disagree with you. When I saw this news headline come out and I saw the story come out, I thought literally the exact same thing as you. The people who simply refuse to even try and understand what a mental health issue looks or feels like for somebody who has a lot of money and a lot of skill is going to look at this Simone Biles situation and be like, again, right. Mental health, like all these kids are such crybabies right after we see, Paul George cite mental health issues, Kyrie Irving, mental health issues, Naomi Osaka, mental health issues. And I think that mental health issues have obviously been around for a very, very long time. I think since humans became humans, we're naturally anxious, right? Like it's been something that we've all struggled with. It's just that now I think young people feel empowered to speak about it. So on the one hand, I hate that Simone is going to be at the center of criticism from the people who just refuse to understand and who just think that, millennials and Gen Z are just super weak and they can't handle anything. They have no mental toughness. But on the other hand, I think that for the 14-year-old who is struggling with depression and mental health and who's watching the Olympics and seeing Simone Biles be so open about it, I think that it probably is very validating and very empowering for them. So I think it's kind of twofold. Simone does not deserve the negativity that she's definitely getting now at this point. But I think that it probably did a lot for the young people who are nervous to speak up about feeling anxiety or depression. So I don't know. I don't know if I necessarily agree that she should have lied. What?
I get that. I do. We have so many people that are opening up about mental health. We've got Dak Prescott, Naomi Osaka. Serena's even talked about she deals with it, but she deals with it differently. Like you said, Paul George. We have so many people, and the way they've targeted Simone specifically, like their targeting of her is just blatant. They don't even try to hide it. It's like they wake up and they say, how can we make life hard for Simone? Like they say that. And that's just the Olympic Committee. I'm not even talking about the general public. Not everybody has to represent. We've got enough representation of what mental health means and the struggle that it is that Simone, you need, and sometimes a lie protects your mental health. Let's just be honest. Sometimes the truth does not set you free. Sometimes the truth puts you under scrutiny. And now you've got to add to the mental anguish that you say you already have. A lie sometimes is the right way to go. And I think this is the time that you lie. I get what you're saying. I definitely, I love young people and I want them to be empowered to be their authentic selves and be true. But you can't please everybody. And sometimes you got to take that time and instead of empowering others, you have to empower yourself and do what's best for you. And I think this is the time that she should have done what was best for her and protect herself at all costs and put up the barrier that is a lie.
But don't you feel that the fact that she did open up about it, she thought that was the best for her to just, because she probably had that conversation with her coach where she was,
I don't feel like she thought that this was the best for her. I think that there's a part of her that felt like this is normal now. This is what people are defaulting to. This is what's happening to me. I can say it and I will be okay. You got to read the room. None of these people who have said this have actually been embraced. Yes, there's these sects of people like us and on Instagram and social media that will say that, but the vast majority is not a forgiving majority. And those are going to filter through more than the love and the understanding that she's getting. And so I think that I don't want us to default going towards mental health, because I think the more people say, I can't do this because of mental health, there is a certain, regardless of what you think about it, when you put yourself in that situation, there is a certain understanding that you're going to be under more pressure than the rest of us. And the rest of us are going to expect you to know how to deal with that. We're going to expect you to journal, go to counseling, eat right, sleep right, do whatever you need to do to have the mental toughness to go out there and perform. And if you can't, then your image is forever tarnished. There's no coming back from that. We're always going to say, even if you have a basic mistake, oh, it must be your mental health. I don't think that we should make mental health the default, because it dilutes the message of how important mental health is. So I think sometimes a lie is okay, and I think this is one of those times.
Okay, well, let's talk about Ben Simmons, because honestly, I feel like he might be struggling with some mental health issues, but he's the one who's not opening up about it. Okay, so Bleacher Report just revealed that Ben Simmons has been screening phone calls from the Sixers and that he's made himself totally unavailable to them during this offseason. They haven't been able to get in touch with him since the season ended. There have been no workouts, very little, if any, communication. In other words, he is just ghosting the team right now. So Bleacher Report wrote, I'll tell this to you guys. This is from a source. I'll tell this to you guys, and you guys can do what you want with it, but they haven't been able to really even get in touch with Ben since the season ended. Like, there was an intent to have a workout plan or whatever, like in any off season, and it just doesn't sound like there's ever been movement to come together on the same page to do that, and it hasn't really worked this summer either. People aren't even sure that he's training. They don't know what he's doing. He's just pretty much not there. He's just like decided, like, hey, I'm taking the time off, not talking to my team. If Ben does hope to preserve his NBA career and potentially be able to land with a team that, you know, wants him there, this is such a bad look. And we said the same thing with James Harden when he was kind of ghosting the Rockets. James Harden is a phenomenal player, but the second he shows this lack of respect for his team, the team that he has been with for such a long time, it just is a bad look across the league. So I don't know what Ben's thinking. This is like, yesterday there were multiple negative headlines about him. One where he slid into the DMs of his friend's girlfriend. Like, Ben, what are you doing? Yes, that's a whole drama. You guys can find the video. Not good at all, but we have a video about that on our channel from yesterday, so you can go check it out. But Ben is just, I don't know what he's doing. He is just not doing the right thing. So, Jackie, the first question that I want to ask you, this is his off season. Is he free to kind of do whatever he wants? Does he have to be in touch with the Sixers? And what's your reaction to him ghosting them right now?
So superstars have downtime. They don't have off seasons. You know what I mean? Like, if ball is life is a real phrase, you're supposed to be continually trying to get better. We would have a totally different narrative about Ben Simmons if we were hearing about, you know, Ben Simmons has met up with, well, actually we know that he was supposed to meet up with several legends and stood them up. But if he was not standing them up and he was going out and he was practicing on his shooting and he was doing these things, all of a sudden we would be a lot more forgiving of Ben. We would say, well, maybe he deserves one more season. You know, that's not what we started out saying, but if his behavior warranted us saying, okay, maybe, then we would say that. So he's in his feelings right now. Let's be clear about that. The Doc is the only person that came out and said that he has not given up on Ben Simmons. He's the only one. If I was Ben and I really wanted to stay in Philly, I would cling to Doc. I would be all on my social media showing me hanging out with Doc, me bringing in people, me working with these shooting experts that are all over Instagram swearing they can make you better. You know, I would be doing the work. Ben is not doing the work. Instead, he's falling into his feelings. And once again, he's believing his own hype. He believes that Ben Simmons is all that he thinks he is. Even though his work on the floor has declined every single year, he still believes he is early 2018 Ben Simmons, and he's not. And I think that this is and this situation is entirely different than the James Harden situation, because James Harden was still even when he was out there mad and looked overweight for some reason, he was still playing way better basketball than Ben Simmons. He was an asset to that franchise. That franchise knew that they needed him. The Sixers don't need Ben. They just don't. They got Joel, and they can move on, and they can find another guy who actually knows how to shoot and can actually be an asset to that team. So he's not proving that that's where he wants to be. Yes, I get, this is your offseason, enjoy your time. But like I said, superstars don't have an offseason. They have downtime. You can have downtime where you're just taking a day or two, but you still got to be working on your game. You still got to prove that you understand that you're not the Ben Simmons that any of us thought you would be, and you're trying to get better. That's what you need to do. So no, he's not going to be in Philadelphia next season for sure, because Doc isn't going to be enough to save him at this point. Because now the higher ups are going to be like, all right, well, he's been declining. He's ghosting us. Let's send him on his way. It's over, is basically what I'm saying.
Yeah, I mean, and I think we knew it was over the second he missed that wide open shot in the playoffs. And I mean, not even missed it, refused to take it is the phrase I should say. But yeah, I just think that Ben right now is acting like the ultimate F-boy is the way I describe it, because he's ghosting his team, he's betraying his friends, he's just acting all around like he's going through some sort of like crisis. And honestly, what we were saying when the Sixers were still, I think when they were still in the playoffs, we were saying he probably needs to go see a therapist if he isn't already. It might help him kind of get past some of these blocks that he's having, but also sort out why he is just kind of acting all around disrespectful. I mean, it's worth mentioning that he has a massive contract with the Sixers. So don't you feel that at the very least, even if he doesn't want to stay there, he owes them that respect and, the responses, the answering a phone call? Doesn't he owe them that just based on that contract he has with them?
I don't really believe people owe anybody anything. So no. However, I do think you owe yourself a lot. And I think you owe yourself to show that you're a professional, that you understand what your game is, and you can read the writing on the wall. You can accept that this time is coming to an end, but you don't want to diminish your value to another team. You don't want to get on this road of negativity, because now wherever you go, the team is going to be looking at this moment in time. Not only have you declined every year, not only did you not take that moment to help your team, now you're not being professional and you being a bad friend. So, friends and teammates, kind of the same thing. You're not painting yourself in a light that, even though Philly is going to want the farm for him, you're not painting yourself in a light where they can get that. So even if you want to move on from the team, you're not giving yourself the best option. You're not presenting yourself as a guy that other franchises are going to want. So he owes himself better. He owes himself to, at least he can start doing these cryptic tweets. If he wants to leave, do these cryptic tweets about, oh, I've always wanted to play blah, 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 and then go team up with a player from that team and practice. You can do all of that, but don't just ghost a team and show that you're kind of like a bad person as well as a bad teammate and a continually declining player. You're shooting yourself in the foot. So I don't know if I would say he owes them that just because of that contract, but if he really believes in himself the way that he seems to, he owes himself that, and he's shooting himself in the foot.
He really is. He really is. I just think this whole situation is not going to play out in any way that he is hoping for, just based on the way he's been acting and the way he's been playing. I think he should reach out to one of those basketball trainer coaches and really show, because if they are honest about what they're able to do, Ben could seriously benefit from that. But let's wrap up this segment and move on into the post-up. Jackie, what's happening?
Yes, let's get into this post-up, because this one's going to be fun, especially this first one, because, DeMar DeRozan has not averaged less than 20 points per game since 2013. He is the opposite of Ben Simmons. He has not been declining. He's a 4-time All-Star. He's just getting off that max contract, so he's an unrestricted free agent, and he's 31. So for me, 31, especially in basketball, it's that age where you start to really think about your future, right? You start to think about things other than basketball, family, where you want to live, where you want to end your career, all of that. If you guys don't know, DeMar DeRozan is from Compton, so LA is home for him. So when he's sitting down with Shannon Sharpe, by the way, Shannon Sharpe, I need to know his whole diet, because this man is aging backwards for sure. But he addressed all of his feelings about returning home to play ball, and I love this. Take a listen.
You are an unrestricted free agent. You say the Lakers, Kobe was your guy. The Lakers, I'm assuming, was your team. What would it be like for you, being a local kid, to don the purple and gold?
I mean, it's, growing up, you can't ask no kid if they want to play home, they'll say no. You know what I mean? At some point, you would definitely want to have that opportunity, and especially if they want you, why not?
Right.
Why not?
Right.
You know, it's a great opportunity.
Would you have wanted to start your career in LA? I think now, no, because you're a lot older.
No, I don't think I was ready for it at a young age. I'm glad. I always tell that story. I'm glad I went to a whole nother country.
Okay.
And had to like mature faster.
Right.
I could have got lost in coming home. You know what I mean? But at this point in my career, you know what I mean, understanding how everything works, it's a lot easier. You know.
I love that, because I had to get that last little point in there, because that was the main thing that I said about Lonzo. I just didn't think that LA was the place for him because he wasn't ready yet. You have to have, y'all want to talk about mental toughness. LA is a beast just by itself. You're going to play ball here and be in the limelight. That's a whole nother thing. You got to be ready for that. So I really respect that he recognized that part of himself, and he said, now it's time. If you guys get a minute, go watch that whole interview, because one of the things he also said was, Shannon Sharp asked him, did he think that his playing time and his minutes and his points would kind of decline because he was playing with LeBron and AD if he ended up coming to the Lakers? And he said no, and he cited the Brooklyn Nets. He said, look at them. You know, they are three elite guys, great scorers, and they're all scoring great together. So I absolutely love this interview. I am very much team DeMar DeRozan to come here. This user has a prediction, and I agree. Let's take a look at this tweet. He says, man has accepted his role on the team before being on the team. Lakers in 5. This man is right. Totally believe what that guy says. This user, don't come for Shannon Sharp. Don't do that. He said, this man is tampering on behalf of LeBron. Is a good tier. Like, he's not tampering. Shannon Sharp is not tampering, but even if he is, it's okay with me, because he can do that, because he's not going to get any kind of tampering fines. I love this. I love how mentally sound DeMar DeRozan is in this interview, and he's recognizing, okay, now I'm turning this corner. Devin, what do you think? I know we talked about this yesterday. I'm loving this. I still am on Dame and Carmelo, but that probably won't happen, so I'm loving this. What do you think?
No, I think it's great as well. And I think that since Dame, I mean, even Dame alone is going to be very tough to make that happen. And DeMar and Kyle Lowry seems like a more solid option, or something that's a little bit more reasonable. Right. And DeMar said that he was willing, I don't know if this was in the clip that you shared, but he said he was willing to take a pay cut in order to be on the Lakers as well, or not necessarily. I'm getting ahead of myself. I'm like, he says he'll take a pay cut to be on the Lakers. No, he just said that he'll take a pay cut to be on a team that's actually going to be a title contending team. And I think that that's the mentality you need to have. Somebody who's not in it for the cash, who's actually in it to win it, who's focused on the prize. And I don't know, I like him. He seems like a good guy. I really like hearing him talk too.
Yeah, I love him as well. I think he's so grounded. I think he would be an automatic fit. You guys pay attention to what Devin said, though. You know, he would take less to be on a title contending team, because we got somebody else in the post up. So Who Dat Nation, I want to get your mind forward thinking here on, do we take somebody just, you know, to prepare for the Michael Thomas situation? Get your mind right. We're going to think about that one. But let's move on to this next one, because if you guys are following me on social media, you know that I did this on my story not too long ago. And I said I was going to do it on my story every day. I did not, but I've done this app several times. I wish that I could do what this teacher did and fool my children like this and have them this excited, because this is an amazing moment in time. Take a look.
Who is that? LeBron James!
That one kid that was losing, that has to be a relative of mine in some way. We are kindred spirits. LeBron James, oh my God. The instant reaction was great. I'm glad. I was a little worried, because you know them Karens and Kens is out there, and I just was waiting for the comments of like, oh my God, how dare you lie to children like that, which I would have done. I kind of want kids so I can play these pranks on them. But she let us know really quickly that she let them know the jig was up. So she posted this tweet immediately. She said, I told them it was all fake. Afterward, we laughed about it together. I'm glad she posted that almost right away because I was like, oh no, here they come. But she got it out. I need to go and find me some kids and do this prank because I thought this was fantastic. But let's get to this next one because I saw some of you guys talking about this earlier in the chat. You were asking if we were going to talk about the moment that Trae Young kind of clowned this guy. And here we are, because this one is one of those moments that this is kind of Ben Simmons-esque, you know, not entirely, but believing you're more than who you think you are is a bad thing. Nobody knows. I get that these fans in the stand know this guy in this league. I don't know what it is, but anyway, I know that they all know this guy, and he's taking it personally that everyone seems to be more hyped about Trae being there than they are about him being there. But I'm like, know your role, my guy. But take a look at this. This is how it started. Take a look. Why are you walking around? Y'all know my name. Y'all know my name. He is so upset that everybody is excited about Trae Young. And then he's so in his head about it. Y'all know my name. Y'all should know my name, that he forgets there's a whole game. Trae gets the jump on him because he's all in this name thing. And this ends so badly. And Trae gets the game winner. Y'all take a look. You gave that man that Damian Lillard bye-bye moment because you was, that is so embarrassing. I would just not play anymore. I'm not coming back to that. I'm not doing it. I'm just so embarrassed. This is going to live on the internet forever. And it's your own fault, my guy. I'm so sorry about this. Now, I can't wait because you know Devin stays up on all the drama. I can't wait to hear what Devin thinks about this next one because, you know, I don't like it. I don't like it at all. We talked about this long time ago. We here on the Fumble warned PJ about this. We warned him specifically about this woman. I think it should be mandatory for athletes to listen to the Fumble because we talk about this all the time. And I think I've even had moments where I'm like, what you're not going to do is let one of these IG thoughts get an anchor baby into your money. Don't do that. Condoms are real. The morning after pill is real. You should use both at all times. Let's just be clear about that. If you messing with these everybody girls, PJ did not listen to anybody. I think some of his friends even tagged him into some things that were coming down his way. He didn't listen. The two got together. Then they announced that they were having a baby. And then the baby came. And then now Brittany Renner is done with the man, right? You're low-hanging fruit, my guy. You've only been in the league 2 years. You're the guy that she could get because everybody else checked her tape. They knew who she was. And now that you got and you stuck for the next 18 years, please don't cry about it on social media because now we gonna drag you. But he didn't even listen to that advice. And here go PJ. Look at PJ Washington's tweet. Now he wants to cry about it. He goes, you was faking it all along, bro. We all told you she was. Why are you posting this? You look ridiculous. And now here comes Twitter with the dragging that you deserve. So let me show you this first tweet. And he's like, yep, 18 years. She got you for 18 years. You need to get a DNA test. Let me say that too. Sidebar. Don't take her at her word. You need to get a DNA test. But let's go to this next one. This one says, Brittany truly played the long game by seducing a teenage PJ Washington at Kentucky. He got so caught up that he ignored her game film online, got her pregnant, and now realizes he was played the entire time. You hate to see it. I mean, do we? Like we told you. Let's go on to this next one. He says, you should have known. Hang in there, champ. I think there might be one more. Says you know what it in an IG hoe, bro. You reap what you sow. Literally. Devin, do we feel bad for that? I don't. That's what he get. We told him several times.
Okay. I feel a little bad for him because, you know, I'm a softie and I hate that. Listen, I can't help it. I feel a little bad for him, but he should have known. I'm not taking that away from the situation at all. All you got to do is a quick Google search on Brittany Renner and you see that she's used athletes for her personal gain multiple times. She wrote a book where she outed Colin Kaepernick and said that he made her pay for her own flights to come hook up with him. Like, this girl is just a known get-around girl. She likes the athletes. She likes what they can do for her platform. And now she likes what PJ Washington was able to do for her bank account. Here's my question, though. Wouldn't it have, they literally just had that baby, so wouldn't it have made more sense for her to stick around a little while longer, open a couple of her own cards connected to his accounts, spend freely, make him watch the baby during the off season, and then dump him when she's already gotten a lot of access to his money, like so she could go and buy herself some Prada bags, maybe a G-Wagon, whatever it is that she wants, and then move on. Like, I'm surprised it ended this quickly.
He's low-hanging fruit. He's only been in the league for 2 years. His contract is not the contract that she's going for. She got this baby. She's got the in into the little circle of the girls that get around in the NBA. She wants to get out now while she still look okay to try to get that bigger contract. That's what she doing. She trying to get the bigger contract. And the next guy that gets caught up, I'm laughing at him too. Like, you big dummy. If she don't end up with the UPS man, that's the UPS man. That's all she deserves. And not even like the full-time, because, you know, full-time UPS men make good money. She needs the seasonal stalker at UPS. That's it. That's all she deserves. She don't deserve nothing else. I don't like this chick. I just don't. But PJ, you brought this on yourself. I can't feel too bad about you. So good luck for the next 18 years. We'll see how this ends. But let's go on to this next one. Because this next one, apparently, those of you in the chat who doubted Tom Terrific yesterday, you were right. So, and I hate to see it. I hate to see it because I believed it. Remember that video that we showed you of Tom throwing the ball and then that perfect target to the little spin around thing? I did say that the one user that said, no, that thing is constantly spinning. I was like, that does sound right. So, of course, Captain Disillusion, he's the guy on Twitter that debunks a lot of these videos and tells you if they're real or fake. And, of course, he was tagged in it. So he posted this. Y'all take a look at this tweet. He says, I'm going to explain why it's fake in the following 2 tweets, but then you have to promise to stop tagging me in this forever. Because, you know, everybody was tagging him in it. So let's go to his first debunking thing. He says, note how the patch of background behind/above the machine wobbles differently from the rest of the environment. It's hiding a person who is catching and throwing the ball back. I didn't see that, but y'all take a look and you let me know if you see that patch in the background that's moving different. Take a look. Okay. Oh, I do see it. You can see the little, okay, so green screen technique, you guys. You see the little line? There's a little line on the side of the machine. That happens when when the green screen isn't wide enough and you can't crop it enough. So he's actually right. I didn't see that until just now. He's right. Let's go on to this next one. That's part 1 as to why it was fake. Let's go on to his next tweet where he explains it again. He says, check out how the machine and its cord slide around on the field, the perfect isolation and the single rig toy bounce with which it falls. Tell me it's CG. That's when you kind of green screen it. They probably didn't want to crash a real machine because for some reason they cost like $2,000. Okay, thanks, goodbye. So then he shows that and yeah, he's right. Dang it. Well, if you didn't believe him from that, you definitely can believe him from this one because the damn CG guy tagged himself. How dare he? So y'all take a look at this one. This next post says, for those who are curious whether the amazing Tom Brady video is real or fake, sadly it's fake, but it's still incredible. The video's director thanks his CGI team on Instagram. So you see right there, he says, the director is this Ari guy, and then CGI is Warm and Fuzzy TV. Don't tag the CGI guy if you're trying to convince us that it's real. But you know, Tom Brady's just having fun right now. So I'm okay with the fakeness. I feel like Tom was just having fun. Devin, do you agree with me? It's just fun. It's okay that it's fake.
It's fun. It is fun. Although I definitely was very gullible yesterday. I didn't even question for a second that it was fake. I was like, no, that's real. Tom Brady did that. So I'm a little embarrassed.
Tom Brady's so accurate. I was doing the whole turn up. I feel like an idiot.
I know. I'm like, okay, so slightly humiliated. It's okay. But yes, it was a cool video. And like Tom Brady has the money to pay for a great CGI artist and all that. So it's fun. I'm less interested now that I know it's fake though. Like I just, meh.
Yeah, now I gotta watch all your videos. Like, let me see if anything's weird in the background. You've doomed me to critique all of your videos from now on, so I don't like it. But let's move on to this next one because I am surprised at this a little bit. Just a tiny bit that you guys are surprised. That's probably what surprises me more than anything because you guys know you get fined if you don't show up. That's the whole reason Deshaun Watson showed up, not because everything is played out, but because he didn't want to get that $50,000 fine. So here we go. Here's the tweet that's got everyone kind of thinking, what the heck? So Bleacher Report posted this and Aaron Rodgers showed up in Green Bay. And there's the photographer, taking his pictures. I'm not surprised by this. Again, I think it's a business move more than a I want to be here move. He's made it very clear that he does not want to be here. I think some of these tweets have a proper reaction. It says, reporter, Aaron, what conversation did you have with the front office that brought you into camp? And Aaron's like, I ain't talk to them. I'm just coming, so I'm just here so I don't get fined. That's literally what it is. Let's move on to this next one. He says he looks like a senior on syllabus week that just can't wait to graduate and leave. Too accurate. And I think that's more accurate of what's happening right now. I think he just doesn't want to get fined, but he's going to do his due diligence to make sure that he just doesn't get fined. But I don't think this changes the fact that he doesn't want to be there. That's just me personally. Let me know what you guys think in the chat. Who Dat Nation, I called on you earlier and said, let's get our mind right. Let's start thinking about the possibilities because we know our boy, Michael Thomas, is in a situation. So let's go on to this next post up. And I want to get your thoughts, right? Because this isn't a horrible idea to me. And I know I like weird ideas sometimes, but this isn't a horrible idea. Ocho Cinco wants to be a part of Who Dat Nation. Hear me out. Let's take a look at his tweet because I'm not mad at this. So first of all, I need you to know to spell here right because Devin is just looking at this like, oh my God. He said, Saints, hear me out. Even 7 years removed, I'm still in better shape than 90% of these earthlings and can play until my guy, Michael Thomas, comes back. Don't need money and a contract, just a company car and a place to stay. I vote yes on this one. I think that he can play still. We've seen it. We've seen how amazingly athletic this man is. I am with this. I agree with this next user, though. Let's take a look at this next tweet. He says, brother just misses football and wants back on the field before it's absolutely too late to play another down. Most former athletes know exactly what he's feeling. Time steals everything you love. I agree with that. You just age out of stuff and you'd be like, damn, remember the good old days? Yeah, well, he's still got a few good days left in him. It might only be 2 or 3, but I think he's got a few good days left in him. But then this next user took a poll. So, Devin, I want you to just let me know really quick. So he says, pick one right now because we know Des Bryant still doesn't have a job. He's obviously a little closer to the game than Chad Johnson. You guys in the league. I see Nerd Soul, league minimum. My exact thoughts. Way to go, Nerd Soul. That's my exact thought. You guys let me know in the chat right now. Chad Johnson or Des Bryant? Devin, let me ask you really quickly while the chat gets their thoughts together. Which one would you pick?
Wait, is this just for the Saints?
Just for the Saints. Yeah. Just for the Saints. Just for Who Dat Nation. I know you don't care about Who Dat Nation, but pretend for like a second.
All right, really getting into the Who Dat Nation mindset right now. I think I might go Des. Are you going Chad on this one?
I'm going Chad Ocho Cinco on this one. I am. He's a better route runner. He's a better route runner. That's one of the things that I've always gotten on Des about is his ability to run routes. Now, I've seen him in practice on his film. He definitely can run routes better now. But, back in the day, that was my biggest problem with him. So we got one vote for Des. Oh, no. Jeremiah says Chad. Jondra says I'm assuming you mean Des. And then Daniel says Chad as well. Oh, is that what you mean? Oh, okay. And then JD says Des because Ocho Cinco be eating McDonald's too much. He does, but he's in amazingly good shape. So let me show you the result of this poll really quick. Chad Johnson, 74% of people said that Chad Johnson should go to Who Dat Nation. I agree with 74.1% of the people. That's just me, personally. I don't think it's going to happen either way, but I would be down for the league minimum to get Chad in there until Michael Thomas is 100%. I'm with it. So if we can make it happen, let's make it happen.
I think just based on age alone, Des is what, like 10 years younger than Chad? Chad's out there eating McDonald's and he's what, in his 40s? Des is younger, probably not eating McDonald's quite as often. I mean, it's just a balancing act.
Yeah, but we just saw Chad survive a fight that I didn't think he was going to survive. So he obviously can take some hits. So I'm still Team Chad on this one. I'm still Team Chad. Ocho Cinco. I love it. All right, so let's go to this next one because I really appreciate innovation. We've talked a lot about training basketball players, and maybe Ben Simmons needs to go to Instagram and find him somebody who can train him. I want to see what you guys think about this one, though, because it's interesting, but I'm not sure how I feel about it. Take a look.
This hand-in-your-face basketball product simulates true game-like situations when training. It develops not only the ability to shoot over defenders, but your focus, confidence, and muscle memory. Everyone who has ever played.
Okay, so yeah, I don't know. Because I don't think that's usually how it works. So anyway, so let me get, because somebody in one of the tweets said exactly what I was thinking, and I agree with this user as well. He says, feeling like this won't help a lot. A real hand is usually trying to tip the ball. I don't think any decent defender been taught to put their hands in an offensive player's face. Face guarding is illegal at most levels now anyway, if I'm not mistaken. So I don't know if this is, I mean, it can't hurt because regardless, you're getting used to your vision being obstructed and you're still shooting. But if a player is right there, you're not going to go straight up and shoot like that, really, unless you got to still jump over him and the hand. I don't know. Devin, is this going to work?
I think this is kind of strange because even if there is a situation where their face is being covered by somebody's hand, I don't think that it's going to be like this is making you totally play for a pretty long stretch of time with a big blockage on your face. I just don't think that it's ever going to be quite like that. I mean, I guess it gets an athlete used to not having clear vision and kind of having to work around different blockages, but I don't know that this is like some revolutionary tactic to train athletes.
Yeah, because your body's moving. You're in motion as you're defending, and it's not like you're just gonna be like, like that. I don't know. It's not a bad idea, but I mean, yeah, it's like, I don't know. You guys know how you feel about this in the chat. I'm jury's still out with me, but that's all I got for the post up. Let's get into what we not gonna do right now. We're going to head back over to the Olympics. We're going to talk about the Olympic Games again because the Olympic Games, they have proven to be the highlight of more controversy than actual international high level of athletic competition that we're used to. This one really bothers me, and I don't think it's going to bother a lot of you, but this bothers me for a lot of reasons. I've traveled a lot of places, and one of the things that I have seen a lot is that we, as a nation, people have a very low opinion of us. They think that we're egomaniacs, very egotistical. And this headline from the New York Post, which has wide readers here in the States and then even more internationally. This is what they posted in their sports section. He says, there are 300 million reasons U.S. men's basketball should bounce back. Now, this is by Mark Berman. He is the writer for the New York Post. So when I saw that, I was like, okay, what is he talking about? This is horrible to me. This is like, tell me you're egotistical without telling me you're egotistical. So we know the U.S. men's basketball team lost on Sunday to France, 83-76. So his point is, on the Tokyo floor in the opener, the U.S. team had 10 of the 11 highest paid players. He says the French, obviously Rudy Gobert will make $35.3 million next season. But he was the only one not on the U.S. team. He says other than the two emergency replacement players, JaVale McGee and Keldon Johnson, the other 10 U.S. players are averaging $29.6 million in salary for the 2021-2022 season, and Kevin Durant is making $40.9 million. So he says that reason alone for what they're making, that is why the U.S. team should bounce back. This is crazy to me because, yes, I get what you're saying. He also includes Coach Popovich's payroll. He says that Popovich is making $11 million a year. So he's saying basically, other than Rudy Gobert, there's no financial reason why any other team should be able to beat the United States. He also goes on to say, they're playing Iran, so that should be a wash. They should definitely beat Iran. This is the most boneheaded thing I've heard anyone say in a long time. The money that you make, obviously we've seen people, whether we're talking about football, basketball, whatever, we have seen athletes get overpaid. Ben Simmons. We've seen people get overpaid for whatever reason. The money you make is not a thing. What did I say yesterday? You can have immense individual talent. That does not automatically translate to you guys are dope as a team. Dame even said, hey, we're all kind of doing things we don't normally do. And that means that Coach Popovich, unfortunately, hasn't figured out a way to make these individual talents work as a team. Now, with that in mind, since they are playing Iran next, if Iran wrote an article, someone in Iran wrote an article that said, you know what? We got more oil than the United States has. They have to come to us for all their oil, so we automatically should beat them because oil equals money. We got more money than them at the end of the day because they need us more than we need them. If Iran said that, we'd be mad. We'd be so mad. We would say, what you guys have as far as oil has nothing to do with what happens on the floor. Why are we not making this connection? Why is this a thing? From athletes saying they have mental health issues, well, you make a whole bunch of money, to, oh, well, they make a whole bunch of money, they should automatically win. What's wrong with us? What is wrong with us as Americans that we say money means you win? I get that we're a capitalistic society and we just kind of put everything we have into money. I hate to be the one to burst your bubble. Money does not buy happiness, and it does not buy an Olympic gold medal. It doesn't. If these guys do not figure out how to play well together as a team, if everybody doesn't know how to play their roles, and this is another problem. This is one of the reasons why I think they're failing a little bit more too. We don't see guys play their positions anymore. Everybody kind of just gets out on the floor and does their thing. Ben Simmons is part of the problem in that. He is not a point guard. And now that he's switched to that position, and we're just used to guys being able to switch back and forth willy-nilly, that's part of his detriment. He is not a point guard. Popovich has got to tell these guys, Dame, you're at the point guard. JaVale, you're the center. Like, you guys got to figure out what position you're playing, and then you got to figure out how to play together as a team, because I don't care. You can bring that $300 million back here with a bronze medal if you think that you just gonna win because of money. What we not gonna do is think that money equates talent. It does not. You guys should know that history has proven that sometimes money just equates to power, but power doesn't translate to basketball. This is embarrassing. Please stop putting us out here where these egomaniacs. Don't embarrass us on this national stage like this. Take this story out the New York Post, please and thank you. This is embarrassing. Devin, what do you think about this? Do we have $303 million why we should win the gold?
Well, I feel like the issue is that in America, we equate money with value. If something is more expensive, it's going to be higher quality. And it's the same way that we view literally everything. And so when we see Ben Simmons with this massive contract and he's not performing well, it's like, why are we paying you when your value is not up to par? But when you get up to the Olympics, this international stage where the best of the best from everywhere is coming to compete, money, at least when I look at it, it means way less because, you could be throwing so much money at these athletes, but that still doesn't take away from the fact that Russia has the top of the line athletes from their country and, all over. So I think it's really hard. It's just a weird like, perspective to have. Like, just because you have a lot of money, you should be winning. Like, no, you can have a lot of money and suck. Like, I don't know. I'm having a really hard time understanding this. Sure, it would be nice to know that
like, he's missing the passion part of it. Because here's what's going to happen if I'm reading this and I'm not on the U.S. Olympic team. Now, all of a sudden, I have more incentive, I have more passion, I have more drive now to dethrone the US team. Because no, my country doesn't have a lot of money. However, how proud is it going to be? It should be pride, should be the reason why. That might be a problem in itself. Our country right now is so divided that we just don't have that I want to bring back the gold for my country mentality. It's an individual achievement at this point. These other guys are literally playing for their country. They want to bring back the gold for their country. It's a level of passion that unfortunately we just don't have in the United States right now. He's missing that. You can't buy that. That is something that is just a beautiful thing. Hopefully, these men come back with the gold. Obviously, I'm pulling for the United States because everybody on that team I actually like. That doesn't mean that this is going to be a walk through the park, and it doesn't mean that money is going to make it happen.
Totally. And yeah, I mean, I think that you said it best, and I think that that passion is really that missing component, because all the money in the world isn't going to change how intense or motivated anybody else is outside of the US. So that was a great point. You guys, we're at the end of our show, so we might as well wrap up now. We're going to be back again tomorrow at 9 a.m. Pacific Standard Time. Don't forget to tune in, subscribe, tap the bell, leave a comment below. And then just as a heads up, I'm actually going to be out on Thursday for the day, but we'll have a special guest host coming in. I don't know if you want to say it out loud, you want to tease it, Jackie, but
Pryor in the chat's gonna be on again. Pew, 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 pew.
All right, you guys. So that's on Thursday, though. I will be here tomorrow. So have a great Tuesday, you guys. Eat some tacos, enjoy yourselves, and we'll see you guys tomorrow morning, 9 a.m. Pacific Standard Time. Bye, guys.